Today, we're going to be talking about how to fix knee injuries from running by using your arms. So one of the biggest traps that we fall into when it comes to pain and injury is we have a tendency to zoom in too far when it comes to diagnosing the problem. That is to say, when we're dealing with an injury to do with our knee, the problem must be from something that we've been doing with our knee. Running's a pretty good example of this. When we're putting huge amounts of load through the knee when we go running, it's really natural to assume our knee injuries are due to the fact that the knee is not strong enough to take the extra forces and extra load that we're delivering. There's certainly an element of truth to this, and strengthening the knee is a really good idea if you want to see your running progress continue. However, if we just constantly look to the knee itself and never zoom out to find out what is going on at other areas in the body, we might find that problems tend to persist no matter how much strength we get out of that one particular joint. Now, if you've got a decent grasp of anatomy, your first instinct might be to look at the joints directly above and below, and we could see some pretty good improvements in knee function if we were to address movement and stabilization of the ankle and the hip. But did you know, in runners, a huge amount of the load that you're going to deal with in the knee is unnecessary, and a lot of it actually comes from stability of the torso. So when you're walking or running, your upper body will help to balance and stabilize the lower body, as well as assist with some of that momentum using the arms, and that's going to be through arm swing. Your left arm will swing forwards at the same time as your right leg, and vice versa. And as the power and momentum increases from the legs, the same is likely to happen from the arms as well. Where the problems can arise is that the upper and lower body tend to favor quite different planes of motion in general. With the lower body, we usually move best through that kind of sagittal plane of movement, so we move through that forwards and backwards motion. Our upper body is actually much better at rotating and twisting. So what tends to happen is, as your upper body wants to get more and more involved, the arm swing is actually going to incorporate some kind of spinal twist. And if you think about what happens there at the level of the knee, now rather than running in this very straight line, that twist in the spine is actually going to put some sideways force on the joint. You're no longer running with your lower limbs in a straight line, you're actually counteracting the twist by pressing your foot sideways into the ground. And what this is going to lead to is, instead of the arms actually assisting the lower limbs with force and momentum, your front leg is actually going to have to absorb all of that shock before dissipating it out in the correct direction for the next step. And where is all that force going to accumulate? Most of the time, it's going to be in the knee. So today we're going to go through a very simple arm swinging exercise to help you figure out just how much force and how much speed you can be building up to while keeping your knees safe at the same time. Essentially, it's going to look like this. Now, we said this is for running. You are free to use this for any kind of arm swing motion that you want. If you are walking, you're probably going to have a straighter arm as you move. If you're sprinting, you'll find that your arms are swinging very much forwards and backwards with that kind of 90-degree angle there. And if you're looking at endurance running, then it's very likely that your arms will be pressed a little further back with that swing. This exercise can work equally well in all three examples. So the way it's going to work is, you're going to choose the arm swing that you want to investigate. I'll go for the sprinting to have a nice happy medium. And you want to find out what speed can you keep this arm swing going without causing any twist in the trunk. So at this kind of pace, I feel pretty good, feeling like my trunk is avoiding some rotation. But if I start to speed it up even just a little, I'm actually feeling quite a lot of pull in this lower knee. So that's a pretty good sign to me that my trunk is trying to get involved. And if I was running, even just at this pretty slow pace, my knees are not just going to have some forward and backward motion to deal with, they're also going to be dealing with a lot of pull side to side. Keep that up over a much longer period, and that is a recipe for some injuries to happen. The good thing about this exercise is that training is really just as simple as this. We're going to up the speed. You can do this at your own pace or even time it to a metronome and try and figure out what the actual pace you normally run at is, and just train it up, build it up until you can get your arm swing to hit that top speed without any rotation of the trunk at any time. And while we've said this is specifically to combat knee injuries, you shouldn't be too surprised if you find your running speed actually increases with this as well. So that's it for today. Simple arm swing exercise that you can take, try it out. Let us know if it works. Have you been dealing with a knee injury? Does this sort some of the problem out for you? If you're new to this channel, we provide videos on how movement can affect both your physical and mental performance, whether that is in sports, everyday life, or any kind of skill development. If you find it interesting and you'd like to learn more, then please do subscribe. Follow our Instagram. There is a link to it in the description. Also, if you'd like to take things further, have a chat with us, see how you can use our movement work in your own day-to-day life, then there's a link to book a session with me in the description below. So with all that out of the way, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.